Okay, right, it's time to reveal. I've done gaming, I've done reading, I've done cartoons. I don't know what I should do, but I'm going to try. Okay guys, listen, I'm going to try reading, see how this turns out. I don't think any other YouTubers are doing this, so I can't get copyrighted. We're going to be reading Sam Silver, Undercover Pirates, The Treasure Map. Okay. Sam Silver stood in front of his class and held up his ancient gold doubloon. Their teacher had asked them to bring in the oldest thing they could find for their history lesson, and his coin was 300 years old. If that wasn't history, then what was? "This is a double eagle doubloon," said Sam eagerly. "It's really ancient, and it used to belong to my great-great-great-lots-of-greats-grandfather, who was a pirate." There was a gasp from the class, but Sam could see his teacher looking doubtful. "Did your parents tell you that?" asked Miss Elliot. "No," said Sam, "but it got washed up on the beach in a bottle, but I know it belongs to my family because there was a letter with it that explained everything." Sam wanted to kneel back. "It's true," insisted Sam. "I know because..." He stopped. He realised he couldn't tell the class anything about his special coin. There was no way he was going to let the doubloon and the great secret they could whisk him back to the decks of the pirate ship Seawolf, where he served as lookout under Captain Blade, the boldest buccaneer said to sail the Caribbean. "Time-travelling undercover pirates can't tell anyone about their plundering adventures because..." prompted Miss Elliot. Said Sam at last, feeling a bit embarrassed. "That's all I can say." "Well, it's the oldest object today," said his teacher kindly. The bell rang for the end of school. "Homework, everyone," she called over its chimes. "You brought in some very interesting historical items, and now you're going to write stories about them. I want you to imagine you're living back in the time of your objects." Sam raced home to the flat above his parents' shop with a jolly cod, best fish and chips in Backwater Bay. He had a great idea. He bounded up the steps to his bedroom, threw off his school uniform and put on his tattiest T-shirts and jeans. Then he tipped the coin out of his backpack. He was going to have some pirate fun with his friends back in 1706. After that he could write it all up for his homework and not even miss tea. That was the clever thing about the doubloon. No time ever passed in the present when he was off buccaneering. He spat on the coin and rubbed it hard on his sleeve. "Seawolf, here I come," he declared. He felt the room begin to spin. The next moment he was pulled off his feet and tumbled to the ground as if he'd been hoovered up by a gigantic vacuum cleaner. He braced himself for the landing. Bump. He was sitting on the wooden floor of a little storeroom, which was gently rocking. Awesome! He was back on the Seawolf. Sam grabbed his feet and gathered the belt-jerking spyglass and neckerchief lying in the corner. His pirate friend, Charlie, always put them there ready for him. She was the only person who knew that he was a time traveller. She'd seen him appear out of thin air once, so he had to explain to her the truth. It had taken some explaining, but she'd understood, and now she helped to keep his secret. Eager to see his crewmates, Sam sprang up the steps and burst out into the hot Caribbean sunshine. The ship was moored in a bustling port, where men were carrying crates and rolling barrels along the quay. There was an unpleasant smell of rotting fish wafting across the ship. To his surprise, the Seawolf seemed empty. He felt a shiver of worry. Where were his crewmates? Then a deep voice hailed him from the foredeck. "By great beer! It's Sam Silver!" A tall pirate in a tricorn hat was leaning over the rail above him, weapons gleaming in the belts across his chest. His bearded face wreathed in smiles. "Captain Blade!" exclaimed Sam in relief. "Where is everyone?" "Shore leave, lad," said the captain called down. "Well, all except Peter. He's in the galley doing some cooking. The last fish pies he gave us was so hard we could have used them in the cannon. I thought he'd better stay on board and practice his pastry." Sam realised that the nasty smell was coming from the ship's gallery, the kitchen. He was glad he wasn't hungry. Even if Peter practiced for a whole year, he'd never produce anything that didn't break your teeth or send you running for the sick bucket. "Permission to go ashore and find the others," said Sam eagerly. "Surely you must have seen the one who came through the town," said Blade, puzzled. "Puerto Nuevo's not that big of a place." Well, the thing is," said Sam, racking his brains for an excuse. He couldn't tell the captain that he hadn't come through the town at all, but simply popped up in the storeroom from 300 years in the future. Every time Sam disappeared from the Seawolf to go back to the present, the crew believed that he'd gone to help his poor widowed mother on her farm, somewhere in the Caribbean, but he never remembered to have an excuse ready when he appeared on board without warning, and this time Charlie wasn't allowed to come to his rescue. "I was in such a hurry to be with you all again," he said at last, "that I kept my eyes fixed on the ship." "Well, go and find your shipmates now," said Blade, ushering him towards the gangplank. "You've got time before we set sail." "Thank you," said Sam, relieved that the captain wasn't asking any more questions. "Oh, hey, me hearty!" came a squawk. A green parrot landed on his shoulder and began to nibble his ear. "Hello, Crow," said Sam, tickling under his beak. "Did you miss me?" "You can take that bird with you," said the captain shakily. Captain Blade was the bravest man Sam had ever met, except when he was faced with a parrot. No, no, no. Charlie had heard it was because the pirate had pinched his toy cutlass when he was little, but all the pirates had different tales to tell. Everyone knew to keep the parrot away from Blade and pretend it was an unusually colourful crow. "Aye, aye," said Sam smartly. He bounded down onto the quay and scanned the crowd. He walked past shops and taverns, skirting the fishing nets, lobster pots strewn over the cobbles. There was no sign of Charlie's bright bandana or Fernando's dark curly hair. Sam was willing to bet that most of the men he could see were pirates like them, who were acting like ordinary sailors, but ready to vanish in an instant if the governor's soldiers came by. Then he spotted Harry Hop, the Seawolf's first mate, sitting at a table outside one of the taverns. Harry was playing cards, a tankard at his elbow, and his wooden legs stuck out in front of him. A scrawny-looking man sat opposite him. His cards clutched squeezed secretively to his chest. Sam was about to call his shipmate's name when Harry jumped up, knocking his stool flying. "Stormy seas!" squawked Claw, tucking his head into Sam's jerkin. "Looks like it," said Sam, as Harry pushed the table over, sending tankards and cards into the air. Harry launched himself at the scrawny man and dragged him to his feet. "I want fair and square!" he yelled in a thunderous look on his voice. "Pay up now or it's the last game you'll ever play!" Okay. Sorry for the bad quality. The audio's not good, but I'm all the time. I can't buy a really fancy mic. I'm sorry. Anyway, that's the end of Chapter 1 of Sam Silver, Undercover Pirate, The Treasure Map. Bye.